it really is important as we try to maintain the culture that is so important to this workplace, that we try to connect. In the old days, of course, we were all in the same room. Now we can't do that, or frankly, it's just not as convenient to do that. But it really is important that we come together, see each other, talk to each other, and understand what it is we're all doing here. So we're connected virtually. And as I was coming up to my office, I was coming here from another meeting. I asked Adam if I was going to see him on video in a few minutes, and he said he was going to the watch party. Well, I didn't know we had a watch party. It's kind of a new concept, but it sounds kind of fun. And if we do that in the future, someone remind me, and I'll remember to bring popcorn or something. Anything, again, that helps bring people together. A couple things I want to mention, although these things are not in my script. But this morning, I had the opportunity to go to Arapahoe Community College, to their Littleton campus, where we held a press conference. It was a governor's press conference. So Governor Polis came to announce Colorado Care Forward, which is a $26 million program. Those $26 million were entrusted to our colleges to enroll students tuition-free in short-term health programs that build the workforce that Colorado needs. And that's, of course, what we're all about. We want to build the workforce that Colorado needs, and we want to provide the education and training and opportunities that so many Coloradans need. It was a great event. We heard from a great student speaker who was in his second day as a student at Arapahoe Community College and just handled that press conference and speaking to the crowd just so well. It really, again, reminded me that the students we serve are really just great, and they just need opportunity. And that's why we're here. It's easy to forget that when we're at the system office and not on a campus. And yesterday morning, we had our regular weekly Tuesday morning president's touch base call. And we talked to the presidents for about an hour every Tuesday morning on just current things, what's going on, what do they need to know about. But it was different because for the first time in 2 years, these presidents were welcoming full classrooms, crowded hallways, crowded parking lots, smiling and chattering students back onto the campus. And the level of energy was just palpable. It was something that we have not felt in that same way in quite some time. So it's a really positive sign that things are returning to, pre-pandemic normal. Now, it's never going to be quite pre-pandemic. We learned so much during the pandemic that we're going to be doing a lot of things differently post-pandemic. But again, the good news is we're able to welcome students who want to be on our campuses onto those campuses, and we're able to serve them the way we love to serve them. Now, today I want to provide you with a few updates and respond to questions you might have for me. As always, I say, share your questions in the chat. Mary Reeves is keeping track, and she'll let me know if there's things I need to respond to. Or you can, again, as we get to the end, feel free to speak up directly, because I do want to hear from you. Now, you're also going to hear from Greg Bush. You all know Greg, our Director of Emergency Management. We're not done with COVID, so he's going to provide a COVID update. What are we going to be doing as we enter into the fall term? He also, and I think many of you will be interested in this, is going to provide a brief overview of the threat event that our Metro colleges and our system office experienced on Friday, August 5th. Some of you were on our campuses when that happened, or in our building when that happened. Some of you were at home and got the notice and wondered what the heck was going on. And some of you want to know, how do you stay updated on future emergencies? So Greg is going to share with you about how you can stay updated about future emergencies through our system office social media pushes. And we want to remind you of the importance of signing up for our emergency alert system. We have a system, but if your number and you are not in that, we can't communicate with you, and we want to be able to do that. So we're looking at this event. It's not something we wanted to have happen. It's something we hope doesn't happen again. But we're essentially educators here, and we need to always demonstrate lifelong learning. We need to demonstrate that we can learn from these events and do better each time. I was really impressed with the response of Greg and our senior team here at the system office and with the folks at the campuses that were impacted. But that doesn't mean we can't learn from the experience and try to do even better next time. And then Christina Cecil, our Chief HR Director, has a few reminders for you and is going to be responding to some suggestions that you made through the suggestion box that we deployed for the June town hall. So please don't forget about that suggestion box. If you have concerns, questions, ideas, please let us know. Again, you can do it anonymously or you can share your name. If you don't share your name, I'll never know who submitted it. For me, it's all about getting ideas, hearing your concerns. So please, again, don't hesitate. That's again, it's an online suggestion box. Mary monitors that. She'll be watching it, particularly over the next 48 hours. But if you don't want to go through the suggestion box and you don't want to ask me right now, talk to an executive team member, a senior team member, your supervisor. We know that our employees are our most important resource here. We also know it's been a tough couple of years, and we and our colleges have lost some really key people. We don't want to lose people. We want to figure out how to keep them. We know it's a function of many things. One, of course, is compensation. We know that matters. But so does workplace culture and communication. And those things we know we can work on, even if we don't have a lot of money to spread around. We want to work with you to make sure that this is a place you want to be. We want to make sure this is a place where you want to contribute to our mission of serving students. So again, please talk to me. Please include your ideas in our suggestion box, or please talk to your supervisor. The last thing I'll say is we're, as always, recording this session for folks who may be interested but had to miss out. They couldn't be here for whatever reason. They're not at the watch party. So let them know it's recorded, it's posted, so they can see what's been going on. So now let me turn it over to our beloved Greg Bush, our emergency operations czar.
Well, thank you very much, Joe. Good afternoon, everyone. A few things I guess I'd like to share with you here. Start with a quick COVID update. COVID continues to hang around, though its impact is certainly less than when this initially started and changed all of our lives. Earlier this week, the CDPHE state positivity rate was lower than I've seen it in 3 months at 6.24%. It was really good. In fact, it was so good, I sent an email to Angie and saying, hey, this is great news. That number's been volatile. Today it jumped up to 14.5%, and that continues. We just move all over the board here. Our positive cases across CCCS and all of our colleges have been decreasing for 7 straight weeks. But today's report that I sent to Chancellor Garcia and the president showed an increase from 29 cases last week to 57 this week. And my guess would be that's a result of just the classes starting again, students coming on campus. So that number did climb for us, but we'll continue to watch that. The other thing is for the system office employees, our testing protocol continues to be put on hold. So that has not changed. Most of our colleges, Joe, you can confirm this, are in that same position, other than a few colleges with their athletic programs. They do have some testing protocols in place, just a few of them. Masks continue to be optional, your comfort level. And we just ask that you continue to take steps to protect yourself and your colleagues, your families. So as far as COVID, that's kind of where we're at right now. We continue to monitor it, watch it. If anything changes significantly, we will let you know right away. Are there any questions with COVID right now? All right. Then regarding the threat we had, what I'll do is I'll just give you a quick overview of what that threat was. And so early Friday morning on August 5th, an email was sent out to 5 of our colleges: Arapahoe Community College of Aurora, Community College of Denver, Front Range, and Red Rocks. And it was threatening violence at the colleges using an AR-15, and the quote was, "to kill as many people as I see." The individual included a picture of the weapon and had made some other threats in there that they had killed their mother, they had planted bombs, and they had a manifesto that was going to be posted in the next few hours. So very concerning. It took some time for all of us to realize that multiple colleges were involved. At first, we thought it was just Front Range from the initial look at the email. When we started looking at and having more discussions internally, most of the colleges made the decision to lock out. And I want to clarify for everyone again, lockout versus lockdown. Lockout is we lock the exterior doors on our campus buildings, continue to work, hold classes inside of the building. It's a safety precautionary measure. A lockdown would be the worst case scenario. You're locking classrooms, hiding, barricading, taking whatever actions you need. So to be clear, our colleges made the decision to lock out. And then they worked with their local law enforcement to try and get to the bottom of this email and whoever sent it. Ultimately, the Denver Police Department took the lead on this investigation, and they had great assistance from the FBI and ATF as well. And in short order, they made contact with the individual who supposedly sent this email, and it was a real individual from Aurora here. It didn't take long for them to eliminate him as a suspect. And so the working theory here was that this individual who supposedly sent the email had been in an online social media battle, if you will, with some white supremacists from some southern states here. And they believe that, and that's still what they're working off of, is the white supremacists got this gentleman's email, put together a threatening pictures, threats, sent them out to the colleges to try and get this gentleman in trouble. Last we heard from the Denver Police Department and the FBI is they're continuing to investigate, dig into this. Unclear whether they're going to be able to track this down to whoever sent that. But it was a scary time for all of us, but it was a good learning opportunity. All of the colleges and the system office made the decision to close our campuses and work remotely for the remainder of that Friday afternoon. And I'll follow up by saying we did do a debrief with all of the presidents, the executive team. A couple of things that came out of this that I think we were very pleased with was a communication internally. Our team came together and was very strong. Fiona and her team, Lindsay Sandoval, were very strong as well as far as getting messaging out to everyone. And in particular, working with their counterparts, the public information officers with local law enforcement. And finally, we got a great contact with a detective at the Denver Police Department who we haven't had before. And she was absolutely wonderful when they took the lead in funneling us accurate, updated information that we could share quickly around the system. There were some things that we did take away that we could improve on. Some of our messaging through AppArmor, some of our maybe communicating quicker internally. And those are good things for us to take away, to learn from, and always working on doing a better job. Joe, Diane, Angie, anything you would add to that right now?
No, nothing I would add other than I really want to thank Diane Duffy and you, Greg. So many of you jumped in, and it was a morning when I was not really accessible and I could not offer much support. It didn't slow down things here at all. You guys handled that very well, and I felt that we really had a good team in place. It made me feel better about how we'll handle things in the future. It went well, even though some key people were not in the office. And we didn't hear a lot from employees who felt that we hadn't responded appropriately, but it's certainly welcome to hearing people's thoughts or comments now if people have anything they want to share.
Well, this is Julie, and I would like to do a shout out to Becca Feiner for her work in handling the email archiving, tracking, tracing, management of the messages that were received by the colleges, and working with their IT departments as necessary, and working with Diane to make sure everything was properly saved as evidence and things like that.
Okay, thanks. We have a question in the chat about if we know why community colleges in particular were targeted here. Of course, some other institutions closed, but as a result of the threat that we received. And Greg, I don't know that I've seen anything about why we were targeted as opposed to some other entity. Do you?
No, the gentleman who supposedly sent this email, excuse me, does not have a connection to the community colleges that we're aware of. And as far as the emails that came from this hacked account, they appeared very random. Some of them went to departments at a college. Some of them went to individual people. It almost, this is just a theory. It felt like someone had just done a Google search and picked some emails and names and really just plugged those in. But that's just a guess.
Okay, we have a question from Colin Wilmer. Go ahead, Colin.
Oh, I'm sorry. I must have hit the hand up button.
Oh.
My bad. I was going for the
Okay.
emoji. I was trying to congratulate Becca. My bad.
Okay. Any others? Okay, we'll move on.
Joe, if I could share my screen for just a moment here.
Please.
All right, can everyone see this now?
Yeah, we just see a Google search page.
All right, what I want to do is just make sure everyone knows how to sign up for AppArmor messages. So if you just pull up a search engine and you just go to our portal, our CCCS Connect. It didn't automatically populate like it did the half dozen times I, bear with me a moment here.
There we go.
Bear with me again. We went to the wrong screen here. So we're going to try this again.
Like my sign-on experience every day.
All right, there we go. So when you sign into your portal here and just go to the dashboard, if you scroll down, this should be familiar to everyone. In the bottom right-hand corner, under Lowry Campus Security, if you scroll down to Lowry Emergency Notification System, click on that. It will take you to this Campus Emergency Notification System screen. And in here, you can add your home phone number, your mobile phone number. If you check this box, you will enable texts. And then down here, you can select what you would like to be your primary number to get messaging on. Me being me, I would say put in as many phone numbers as you can to ensure that you're always being notified. And this is how you're going to get information from the system here through AppArmor. So if you haven't updated this or looked at it recently, please go in and just make sure your information is current, your preferences are set how you want them. And that's the best tool we have to get information to you.
Greg, it's Fiona. I have a quick question.
Sure.
Do you know if new hires are automatically loaded in to this system? Or is this you have to sign up in order to receive AppArmor messages?
You have to sign up.
You will, all new employees will get messages through their email, but this you would have to sign up for, yes. Okay.
Thanks.
And we really hope everybody does so. There's just not a reason not to. These things don't come up very often. for whether you're on campus or not, you would want to know that.
I'll just add that HR put us through this when, at least me, when I got hired. So HR did that for me on my first day.
Great. So that answers the question Stacy just asked about whether that's included during the onboarding process. It sounds like it is.
All right.
Okay.
And then I just have
Anything
one
else,
more.
Greg? Oh, go ahead.
Oh, sorry, Joe.
Nope.
One more very quick thing is I just want to make sure everyone again understands that when we do have emergency situations here, you are our primary method to communicate with you is through AppArmor, and you'd set up your preferences like we just saw. We're always going to tell you what is going on and what steps we are taking, and we would ask you to take if necessary for your protection, whatever the situation would be, weather, anything else. We would follow up that in certain situations with a link to an emergency web page, and Fiona and her team would set that up and lead that if necessary, and that's where the most accurate, up-to-date information would be. And then beyond that, again, Fiona and her team would work on keeping Twitter and Facebook through our social media feeds of Twitter and Facebook updated as well. Fiona, is there anything you would add to that?
No, just again, the primary communication tool is AppArmor. If there is a significant event where there needs to be multiple updates, we'll switch to standing up a website, and AppArmor will send you that link so that you can be directed to the website for ongoing, hopefully not long-term updates. And then again, the last AppArmor would be the all clear when the incident is closed.
Thanks. And Becca, that's an interesting suggestion. Becca says she added her husband's number, so he would also know if something is going on here. And so you can do that with your family members. Okay.
All right. Unless there's any other questions, I will hand this over to either Laura or Christina. I'm not sure if Laura's with
Christina?
us.
I think Christina's going to be taking it.
All right.
And let me just interject that looking at the people on the screen, that watch party doesn't look like much of a party at all. That's true. There you go. Okay. Christina.
Thanks. So just a few updates. Laura wasn't here to give to you today. Greg mentioned COVID, and certainly we're happy that our numbers are more steady or going down. But just as a reminder, public health emergency leave is still something that's available. It's the one time 80 hours. If there's hours left and you have need for COVID leave, then you can reach out to either Molly Dudash in our office or Laura Duclos, and they'll be happy to help you and guide you through that process. And then with the start of the new school year and just changes that are happening, sometimes it has an impact on your schedules. I know several people in my office have had to switch up their schedules a little bit as they're trying to get accustomed to their new academic year. So just make sure that you're working with your supervisors on updating any work schedules once you get into your groove. And then also if you have a significant change to your work schedule, either the number of days you're in the office or the hours that you're working, make sure you submit an updated alternate work arrangement so that we have that on file. You can get copies of the alternate work arrangements from the employee SharePoint site. So you can always get a copy of that there, update it and get that submitted so we have that on record. Sorry, I just lost my notes. The other thing we want to remind you of, Laura has sent out a couple of emails on outside employment disclosures. If you have a second job outside of CCCS, then you are required to submit an outside employment disclosure. So just keep that in mind. The intent of that is just so that we're aware of what those potential conflicts could be. And if there is a conflict of interest as outlined in Board Policy 370, then we will have a chat about that to talk about that conflict of interest. And it's really, it's good for you to have that disclosure in your personnel file. You can also find those outside employment disclosures on the employee SharePoint site. So if you're wondering where that is. Audrey asks in chat, does that include volunteer work? I'd say it depends. I think it's probably a good idea if it's significant volunteer work that you're doing. Maybe go ahead and just disclose that, just in case there is any sort of conflict of interest. Like, for example, if you are volunteering with the Democratic National Convention or the Republican National Convention or something like that, it would be good for us to just know, so we can make sure that we have a conversation with you just about what you can and can't do related to timelines and how you might have to take leave for that. So it's just a good idea. Any questions on either of those? All right, then a few questions that had come into the suggestion box. Wish HR would send a system-wide email when new employees are hired. We do encourage supervisors to send out emails when new employees are hired in their department. Talk a little bit about their new hires, and I know I see a lot of those as of late, so it's great that our supervisors are doing that. In addition to that, we do have a comings and goings section that we update regularly on the System Office Employee SharePoint site. So if you're curious about who the new hires are or who has left our organization, you can check that out right on the welcome page of that Employee SharePoint site. And also Marie Mueller in finance, she keeps org charts up to date. So as changes occur in the organization, she updates org charts. Those are also included in the SharePoint site. You can access that SharePoint site through the portal or directly if you directly link to it. But that's a great opportunity to see who's working in what departments. Then the next suggestion was clarification on salary grades. I'm going to assume this is related to our APT employees here at the system office. And questions just about compensation in general. So also in the employee SharePoint site, you'll realize that it's becoming quite a resource for our employees. But also out there is our compensation philosophy that we just formalized in February. I think we finalized that and put that out there. So that's the System Office compensation philosophy. It talks about what our philosophy is around how we pay individuals that work at the System Office. In addition to that is the pay ranges for our APT employees. And we have very broad pay ranges for APT. So folks that are within the same classification, if you will, there's not necessarily consistent pay within the classification, but we base it off of job functions and duties. So we do an evaluation of positions to determine if there's like responsibilities and job functions, not based on title or anything like that. It's based on specific functions. And then that's how we look at pay equity within our system. So we do have a process where we look at pay equity, and that's something we take very seriously. And so based on the question that came in, if there's somebody that has a specific question, you're welcome to reach out to Laura and talk about that. Also want to remind you all of the importance of making sure that your job descriptions are accurately reflecting what your job functions are. So if it's been a while since your job description was updated, you might want to get that updated, work with your supervisor, get that submitted to HR. And then as far as classified positions go, the pay structure is managed by the state, and you can find all of the pay structure information for the state on the Department of Personnel and Administration website. Questions about that? Okay. And the final question was around tuition reimbursement. That a while back there was some questions about expanding courses that employees could take for tuition reimbursement and wanting to know what the progress was on that. For those of you who were around at the end of July, on July 25th, you should have gotten an email from me about changes that were made to the tuition reimbursement procedure that went into effect July 1st for the fall term, beginning the fall term. And with that, we have a new tuition reimbursement application, as well as tuition reimbursement FAQs. You can find those on the CCCS website under the finance section. There's a whole section for tuition reimbursement, and you can find those FAQs, application, The procedure relevant to tuition reimbursement is System Procedure 360E, and you can find that on our website as well. Some of the enhancements that we made to tuition reimbursement is we increased the cap from 12 credit hours per semester to 15 and 30 in an academic year. So that was an increase. We are opening up employees to be eligible for reimbursement of developmental courses as well as course-related fees, with the exception of the online differential. So course-related fees would be reimbursed for employees. Not a lot of significant changes for dependents. Mostly we expanded it a little bit for employees. And as far as eligibility for something that's job related, eligible for, or degree. So if you're going towards a degree in your class that you're taking, you can say, this would support me if I were to get this degree. Those are eligible for reimbursement. And career enhancing doesn't mean specifically for your job. It could also be something you're aspiring to in another position within our organization. And so you would attest to that on the application that that's applicable, and then we process your reimbursement. The other enhancement that we made is regarding additional aid and other things that you receive around tuition. Those will be deducted from your tuition bill on a prorated basis based on the total number of tuition, total number of credits that you're taking. So a little bit better of a tuition reimbursement as it relates to deduction of those I just completely lost the word, but the aid that you receive outside of student loans. So questions on tuition reimbursement? Okay, that's all we had then.
Okay, thank you, Christina. I appreciate it. I hope that was clear to everybody. You know, we do want people to take advantage of educational opportunities. We do want you to take advantage of professional development opportunities. You know, we, again, want you to find value in not only what you do for us, but what we do for you. We, I think, are really focused now on how we maintain a strong workforce. We've just seen, again, as I was saying earlier, too many departures. It makes it difficult for us to do our job. We need your help. And so we thank you for your continued commitment. Now, yesterday, some of you may know I sent a message to you and to all the employees in the system, about 8,200 of them. And probably about 7,500 of them deleted it immediately. Maybe a few got a few seconds into it and thought, why am I watching this or reading it? I just want to, and so I'm not going to go over the whole thing. I just want to mention a few themes. And one is, you know, we're going to continue doing what we've always done, which is trying to meet students where they are, to recognize the needs that they have, to help meet those needs so that they can successfully pursue education and training and improve their lives. It's really what we're all about. We want to help people build better lives. All of you have a role in making that possible. Now, we have some new initiatives on the horizon. I'm just going to mention a few of them. One of them, of course, you all know because it's a big issue in the system offices, Colorado Online. We are really getting much, much closer now to beginning to actually implement the new approach to Colorado Online. We're doing it in a way that we think will serve students and serve our colleges and meet the accreditation requirements from our accrediting body. But it's going to take a year, maybe more, of just adjustment as we work on it. But we've, through Mark Saperka and Landon Pirius and Diane Duffy, really worked hard to come up with an approach that everybody at best loves and maybe at worst can live with. And I think we're there. And I think as we move forward with the implementation, we're going to see more excitement about it. We also are moving forward, and we've received funding for our Rural College Consortium, which will allow us to better serve students in our rural communities and allow our rural colleges to run programs that they otherwise couldn't because they don't have a big enough population base. This will just link all of our rural colleges so that they can deliver synchronous online classes. So if a student, maybe you have half a dozen students who are interested in a cyber program, but that's not enough at one college. But if you have half a dozen at one college and 4 or 5 from another and 7 or 8 from another, we have enough then to run a class, build a program, and link those students so that they're not left out in the cold because they're in a small rural community. And then the last one I'll mention is our Colorado Skills Institute. That's again going to be an online, non-credit, work-focused program to allow people to get in short order some skills that'll be necessary for them to improve their job prospects, maybe to get a promotion, to learn something new. And in our effort to really help Colorado's workforce, which is struggling now, I just came from a meeting at the Denver Chamber of Commerce this afternoon. They were saying one of the biggest challenges they have as they try to bring new businesses to Colorado is those businesses want to know if there's going to be enough workers here to help run those enterprises. And it's increasingly difficult for our chamber leaders to say, yeah, no problem. We have to help build that workforce. We know there are a lot of people in Colorado still who are out of work, and there are a lot of jobs where there are not any applicants. It's a function of many things, including compensation, but also a skills mismatch where we just don't have the people with the skills to take the available jobs. And that's what our job is to help set up programs to provide people with the skills and training they need to take those jobs, to help those companies, and to help themselves. And then finally, I'll say it's all about equity. We really want to ensure equitable outcomes that we are more focused on than I think any other system of higher education in the state. We want to make sure everybody has the opportunity to get post-secondary education and training. And last, I'll just say is my message concluded, we are stronger together. We need to continue to support each other, to help each other, to make this all possible. It's in some ways harder, it's in some ways more difficult because of the this kind of connection. We're not always in cubicles or offices right next to each other. We don't see each other in the break room as often, but we can still maintain those connections. We can still work together if, again, we remain focused on it, devote a little bit of energy to it. So that's all I have to say. Mary, any questions in the chat that I might have missed?
Nothing new.
Okay, and
Oh, wait a minute. So hold on. Stacy just put something. Many of us never received the email. It might be useful to link the video in the chat or attempt to resend. There were some issues yesterday with that email send, and I would have to let IT share what was going on with that.
Julie, can you help us out here? Because there's both a video embedded in the email, which is just a shorter version of the print version there. So you don't need to do
Sure.
both, but we do want you to have it. Julie?
Sure, about 133 people didn't get the email. And some of it was related to forwarding, having their email forwarded to another email address. There was some automatic, you can set up rules in your inbox, and a few people had their rules set up that kind of was a circular loop. And the rest of them were still working with Microsoft to understand exactly what happened, because they appear to be properly in distribution lists. There was no sending limit that was hit. So for the majority of them, we still don't know exactly what happened. But we do know that, for sure 133 people did not get the email.
Okay, so if you have set up your rules so you automatically block any email that has the word chancellor in it, then you probably didn't get it. So maybe don't do that. Anyway, thanks everybody.
About it.
What's that?
Or at least don't report it as missing if you've blocked everything from Joe.
Yeah. Last I'll say is we are going to have another all-staff in-person meeting. That last one we had, I really enjoyed. I think most people who attended really enjoyed it. That is going to be on Wednesday, September 28th. Again, it's an all-staff in-person meeting, and if you are comfortable, we would really like to have you attend. Thanks for attending today, and thanks for your continued dedication and hard work. Really appreciate it. Take care, everybody.
Bye.
everybody.